Walt Disney World Resort, located in the heart of Central Florida. It's known for classic attractions, beloved characters, and unique entertainment. But when you think of Disney, do you think speed, thrills, and chills? If not, then listen up, because we're about to show you the fastest, wettest, tallest, and what many believe are the most exciting attractions at Walt Disney World. Plus, we'll get a sneak peek at the latest generation of Disney attractions at New Fantasyland in the Magic Kingdom, including the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So strap in, and please keep your hands and feet inside the ride vehicle at all times, because we're taking you on an adventure into the ultimate Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World Resort in Florida is an entertainment destination with over 24 themed hotels and attractions of all kinds. It's become the ultimate vacation destination for millions of visitors from all over the world. But it's at Disney's 4 theme parks: the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Animal Kingdom, and 2 water parks where you'll find out what ultimate really means. Back in the 60s, Walt Disney had expansion beyond California's Disneyland on his mind. And from the same mind that started the theme park phenomenon came the idea to go east, Central Florida to be exact. There, he took his innovative idea of Disneyland and recreated it on a much grander scale. The Magic Kingdom was constructed, and with it came some classic attractions like Pirates of the Caribbean, Peter Pan, and Dumbo. With its deep-rooted tradition of family fun, visitors, whether on their first or 101st Disney experience, have the same expectations for lifelong memories.
I came here about 30 years ago, and it's my first time back, and brought my son, and we're having a great time reliving a lot of old memories for me and creating some for him.
Over the years, Disney has applied innovative technology to stay in front of the competition, creating the ultimate in themed attractions.
The Disney rides are branded to movies and the fun aspects of the Disney culture, but they were really lacking thrill rides. And as the baby boomers were getting a little bit older and having kids of their own, we wanted thrill rides.
So over time, Disney responded. And of these new thrills, some are classics. Some are scary.
Right inside.
Some are wet, and some are wild. The Disney creators responsible for it all are known as Walt Disney Imagineers.
At Imagineering, we've always been a unique mixture of art and technology. Innovation allows us to create what ultimately becomes magic moments in our resorts around the world. Behind all that magic is an incredible amount of very sophisticated innovation and technology that we invent in-house.
So what makes an attraction thrilling?
That's a great question. We always want bigger, faster. It can be psychological, physical, it can be a combination of the two.
A thrill ride is something which stimulates your senses, whether it be your physical senses or visually, and it makes you feel like you're getting away with something, but doing it in a safe way. You know deep down you're really safe, but you sure are excited in the meantime.
Our tour of the ultimate Walt Disney World begins at Epcot with the resort's longest and fastest ride. Test Track, presented by Chevrolet. It's our pick for the ultimate interactive ride experience. Opened in 1999, Test Track originally took visitors inside the world of automotive testing.
When Test Track first opened, it was really about an automobile safety message. All the rigors that automobile designs are put through to make sure that they are safe for the passengers, and just what it's like to test vehicles.
But in a never-ending quest to reimagine its attractions, Disney introduced a new Test Track in 2012.
And when we started thinking about how we were going to transform the attraction, we knew that we had a ride that was a winner. And we thought the exciting thing for our guests would be to talk about automobile design.
Not only does this version of Test Track take visitors inside the world of automotive design, but it does it in a very interactive way.
We've learned that over time, how people want to consume media, how people want to relate with entertainment is much more interactive. They want to have a sense of role playing.
So this means before riders buckle up, they'll create a virtual custom concept vehicle.
They get behind touchscreen monitors where they're able to make design choices starting with a line where they literally connect one point to another. They bring that into a 3D vehicle shape, and then they're able to manipulate that, design it, choose accessories, colors, graphics, all at the same time seeing how those choices are impacting their overall performance of their vehicle.
The choices are stored on a SIM card and then swiped just as the rider boards the simulation car. Then they're off on a 5-minute simulated test drive.
We've broken down the design process into 4 categories: capability, efficiency, responsiveness, and ultimately power. We've divided the track into 4 sections that will focus on each of those attributes so the guests can see how their designs are doing along the way.
As you move through the different testing zones, you get to see your vehicle design and how it's scored in each one of those zones compared with all of the other designs in your car.
The new Test Track is reimagined to put you inside the design world.
The world of automotive design and testing is now a very digital place. So we've put our guests into very glowy digital show scenes, making them feel like they're inside a computer.
The best test is saved for last, the power test.
Yeah! Your vehicle is powered up through a series of glowing portals, and then we throw you out into the real world for the high-speed loop around the building.
It's that 65-mile-per-hour sign that confirms that this ride is Disney's fastest. Also at Epcot is arguably one of the greatest thrills at Walt Disney World Resort, and so it's our vote for the ultimate out-of-this-world thrill. It's Mission Space, located in Epcot's future world.
It was intense.
I've never experienced anything like this ride before.
I really felt like I was going to space.
Mission Space may be an experience unlike anything that has ever been done before.
Mission Space is an incredibly realistic rocket launch experience. Guests can come to our training facility and find out what it's like to train the way that real astronauts train.
Walt Disney World has had a long history of and affinity for space-themed attractions.
Walt Disney himself has had a history with the whole space program effort. There was a TV show in the 50s called Man in Space. At Disneyland, we've had Rocket to the Moon, we've had Mission to Mars. Here we have Mission Space.
Other classic Disney voyages that have become iconic rides include Space Mountain, the Astro Orbiter, and Star Tours. Mission Space is a big step forward in the evolution of space-themed rides.
There's really nothing else out there that makes you feel so clearly like you're in a rocket.
From the moment you enter the International Space Training Center, the ISTC, you're transported 30 years into the future, becoming an astronaut in training, where you'll be briefed on how to man the X-2 spacecraft for an interplanetary journey to Mars. That's right, Disney sends you and your team of explorers to the Red Planet.
Each guest is assigned a specific role in the capsule. We have commander, navigator, pilot, and engineer, and each of them has specific tasks.
Those with the right stuff must perform these tasks in order to arrive at their final destination successfully and safely.
For example, the pilot is responsible for second-stage rockets. When the pilot pushes that button, you can feel the rush of the rockets, you can hear the roar, and you really know that you initiated a system in the spacecraft.
Now that you have your orders, it's time to strap in and hold on tight for the ride of your life.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Your training is put to the test in true Disney fashion when the mission doesn't go according to plan.
A great story has a plot that weaves you through it, and that plot isn't always something which is free of peril or danger.
This is going to be the first chance that most people have to actually see what Mars looks like. We use the real Mars data. We use the height data and real imagery photographs from the orbiters that are orbiting Mars right now and sending the images back to Earth. So all of that data was used in creating our 3D version of Mars. So when you start to plummet to the surface of Mars, you're seeing the Valles Marineris. You're seeing the volcanoes that really exist on the surface of Mars.
All of this is seen through the virtual infinity system known as the Viz.
The Viz is the window that the guests look out of in the mission space attraction. Through a custom lens design accompanied with a computer and a monitor, we're able to create the sense of space and the sense of infinity beyond the window and out into space. The sense of infinity is not something that you get if you just look at a flat monitor.
Mission space is really similar to actual astronaut training in that it uses technology that NASA uses to train astronauts. We use aerospace centrifuge technology and add a layer of Disney storytelling magic to really bring the guests into the experience of being an astronaut.
Mission Space is the result of 5 years of research and collaboration with NASA, as well as former and current astronauts.
Our story has to be based in science fact, and so if we had questions about Mars, we had questions about propulsion or metals, and they connected us with the appropriate scientist or engineer that we could talk to make sure that our story is based correctly.
Put it all together, and you've got one of the most technologically advanced attractions that Disney has ever created. When we come back, a thrilling coaster unlocks the secret of the Yeti. And later, we uncover Disney's ultimate expansion, New Fantasyland. Since the beginning, another aspect of Disney's trademark has been taking an old concept and turning it upside down. Or, in the case of our next thrill, sending it backwards. It's Expedition Everest, our vote for the best thrill in reverse. With a mythical creature lurking deep in a mountain that reaches nearly 200 feet in the sky of Disney's Animal Kingdom, Expedition Everest is yet another Disney roller coaster that raises the bar.
The experience of Expedition Everest begins in a small village. It's very ancient. There's a sense that this village has come on hard times.
The legend of the mystical Yeti is revealed, and it cautions any trekker brave enough to travel into the mountain on the way to Everest Base Camp.
In traditional Tibetan oral traditions, the Yeti really is the guardian of these restricted, remote, natural parts of the mountains that are set aside forever, never to be touched or interfered with by any form of human agency. The premise of Expedition Everest is that these entrepreneurs have decided to rebuild this old tea train and take it through the Forbidden Mountains to Mount Everest, so that instead of a 28-day trek staying at little tea shops, you just hop on our train and, 30 hours later, you'll be at base camp and bypass the whole thing. But to do it, we have to go through the Forbidden Mountains, which are guarded by the Yeti. So, of course, the train is intruding into this realm.
It all starts innocently enough until you find yourself at a point in the attraction where the train tracks have been torn apart. And this is when you realize, oh no, what if this Yeti is real? What if we're in a forbidden part of the forest? What if we've been misled and now we're on what could be an adventure of a lifetime?
The ride vehicle suddenly switches direction, sending all aboard hurtling in reverse. The train's passengers plummet deeper into the caverns of the Forbidden Mountain at almost 50 miles per hour until...
is the best part of Expedition Everest, especially in the dark, because when you come to the tracks that are broken, you don't know what to anticipate, and then suddenly you're whirled backwards.
Imagineers always go the extra mile to outdo themselves when creating new attractions, and in the case of Expedition Everest, they traveled many miles.
The team spent quite a bit of time in Nepal researching the structures, the environment, how the buildings are put together with these rammed earth bricks.
The ride itself is a first for Disney.
The story drove us to technical innovations in the ride track. We needed to innovate and create a track switch that would allow you to change tracks and go backwards. We had to reinvent a train to allow it to go backwards because the wheels weren't necessarily based on that premise.
When we come back, Toy Story Mania introduces a new kind of interactive ride. And later, New Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom Park introduces some innovative attractions and experiences. Stay tuned for more Ultimate Walt Disney World. As Walt Disney World Resort's attractions have evolved over the years, Disney Imagineers discovered their audience wanted new kinds of experiences.
It's very exciting to finally be able to create experiences, attractions, opportunities to meet our characters in new ways, where the guests play a role, where the guests actually motivate the action.
So it should come as no surprise that our next attraction is the ultimate interactive game, Toy Story Midway Mania. It was inspired by Disney Pixar's Toy Story films and can be found at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Here, Toy Story characters invite friends and family to come and play together. This interactive, cutting-edge attraction combines the fun of a video game, 4D technology, and is an immersive ride through the world of Toy Story with some well-loved Disney Pixar characters.
The story of Toy Story Mania is that Andy got a new Midway Carnival game playset. And while Andy's off with his parents, the toys have taken the playset and brought it to life. And they've invited us to become a toy and play with them.
Everyone gets a front row seat when guests put their 3D glasses on and board the ride vehicle.
In Toy Story Mania, you are shrunk down to the size of a toy. And so you aim your cannon at the different targets in the game and you pull the string, and you will see out of your cannon the ammunition that's unique to each game you're playing. So in one game, you pull the string and darts come out. In the next game, ring tosses come out. So every game you play has different ammunition. Every time you pull the trigger, you can see your ammunition, so it helps you aim at the targets. So it's a real-time interactive game unlike anything we've ever done before.
Decades of ride evolution have made Walt Disney World Resort the ultimate location for the ultimate in thrills. Disney's Hollywood Studios is where you'll find a white-knuckled coaster with a well-known soundtrack. Rock and Roller Coaster, starring Aerosmith, is our pick for the best adrenaline rush.
The launch was definitely intense. It definitely pushed you back into your seat.
The idea behind Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith was to create a thrilling attraction that was synchronized to music. In many ways, Space Mountain was really the genesis for this idea. A lot of the early Imagineers to this project rode that attraction with headphones on and listening to rock and roll music while they went through that ride experience, dreaming of the day that that technology could come together.
Disney sets the scene at a fictional record company called G-Force Records, where you've been invited to join a few rock and roll icons during a recording session. And when the rockers realize they're late for a gig, you're invited to come along in style.
To get to the concert, Aerosmith orders up the biggest, most awesome limousine available in Hollywood, and our ride vehicle emulates that exact vehicle that takes us on our journey.
Even though the band knows how to treat their fans right, there isn't much time to spare, and traffic in Los Angeles can get crazy. Once your super stretch limo has arrived, buckle up and get ready for a 0 to 60 launch in 2.8 seconds, catapulting you straight into the first of 2 inversions and 1 corkscrew. The race is on through the Hollywood Hills. Time flies when you're having fun, and nothing's more exciting than flying across town to make it to an Aerosmith concert, especially when you arrive just in time for the band to take the stage. Coming up, Disney's high-tech expansion of New Fantasyland. But first, you may need a towel and some sunblock for what's in store when Ultimate Walt Disney World returns. Our search for the ultimate Walt Disney World attractions brings us to some that are sure to keep guests cool on those hot Florida summer days. In Frontierland at the Magic Kingdom, you'll find Splash Mountain, which gets our nod as the ride with the most thrilling finish.
Well, I rode this ride and I screamed and yelled so much I've lost my voice, but it's the best ride here at Disney World.
Anticipation begins from the moment guests first enter Frontierland as they glimpse the 50-foot plunge.
When people walk into Frontierland, across the rivers of America sits Splash Mountain. The thing that really comes and grabs people's attention is every 12 seconds, a log full of 8 passengers comes down the face of that mountain and they're screaming. So we know you get on the boat anticipating that, and we know you're actually looking forward to that in sort of a dreadful way. We build the anticipation with the story then.
Once on board the log, it's Disney storytelling at its best. Against the advice of Mr. Bluebird, Brer Rabbit leaves the Briar Patch on a quest for adventure. Poor Rabbit never has a chance with Brer Fox and Brer Bear on his tail, sneaking and plotting to catch him. Just find your laughing place Rabbit.
You just don't know when that drop's coming. And that drop could be around the next corner. And they tease that over and over, but all the while telling a great story. And they get you so deep into the story that you see this light and then you realize, here's that drop, and it fits perfectly into the story. It's really this prolonged sense of excitement. And they cap it off at the end with a pretty great thrill.
This 5-story plunge is a 40-mile-per-hour nosedive, making it the fastest drop in the Magic Kingdom. If you think the drop at Splash Mountain was fast, think again. Try a 55-mile-per-hour vertical plunge. This isn't your traditional Disney attraction. Here you're on your own. No seatbelts, no ride vehicle, nowhere to go but down. 120 feet straight down. It's at Blizzard Beach, where you'll find some of the most extreme water rides in the world. But the ultimate is the plummet, Summit Plummet to be exact. From the top of Mount Gushmore, this is the most terrifying plunge at Walt Disney World, and our choice as the coolest thrill.
Blizzard Beach was one of the craziest ideas I think we've ever come up with. We came up with this idea of what if a freak snowstorm had hit this mountain area in central Florida and this crazy gator decided to go out and make $1 million setting up a ski resort, only to find that this freak snowstorm was truly a freak snowstorm and it all started to melt.
With super slick water rides like toboggan racers and slush gusher, you think you've reached the pinnacle of wet excitement. But they're nothing compared to what awaits high, up on the precipice of Summit Plummet.
The mountain is 90 feet tall. We needed to rise above it. So at 120 feet, you're expected to crawl up there in your bathing suit, lie down, cross your arms, cross your legs, cross your ankles, and go down, plunge down the face of this mountain. And people do it, and it's got to take a lot of nerve.
Skiers have to hike to the highest point of Mount Gushmore, where nerves of steel are required to take the plunge at one of the nation's tallest and fastest water slides.
The higher you get as you're going up the stairs, the anticipation builds up because you don't know what to expect and you really can't see how high up you're going. So as soon as you turn a corner, there's some more stairs and it's like, oh my gosh, how high is this thing going to get?
You look around and you see the Epcot icon. You see basically all of Disney World before you.
You're laying there and you know it's going to be fast, and they say good luck. And that's what makes it scary, because of the unforeseen. You can't see where you're going to land.
You may think twice, even 3 times before launching yourself down this vertical challenge.
Cross your ankles.
It was thrilling because when you first go over the dip, you can't see anything. And you got water splashing in your eyes. It's really hard to see. And before you know it, you're at the bottom.
Going down Summit Plummet is so much fun. Watching everybody go down and then just peering over right before you go down. It's so scary, but then once you get to the bottom, it's all worth it. It's just a big adrenaline rush.
It was awesome. It makes me want to go up there again and just start right back all over again. It was a blast.
Thrill seekers who like to get wet and wild will love the whitewater action found at our next ultimate Walt Disney World attraction. Located at Disney's Animal Kingdom, it's Kali River Rapids, our vote for Walt Disney World's wettest thrill.
We love to get wet. We got soaked and we love it.
You never really know what's coming next, and you're always spinning and going around curves.
It's time to join these explorers as they embark upon turbulent waters. Once you start your journey, one thing's for sure, you will get wet.
You can get very, very wet on Kali River Rapids. You can get completely soaked. There's a question of who's going to get it next and where is it going to come from.
The rafts offer little protection against the shower of water that rains upon you every twist, turn, and spin.
As the ride rotates and moves through the river, it's a big mystery who is going to be the victim of the next big splash.
It's a bad omen of things to come when this waterlogged adventure heats up.
We discover that a section of the rainforest is being cut down by an illegal logging company, and we're caught in the flood created by this damage and now have to escape from the river, which is out of control, and find our way back to civilization.
With the forest ablaze and an overturned tanker truck blocking your escape route, it's about to get a little wet. And by a little, we mean a lot.
Bring it on!
The rapids form a drop of something like 40 feet. And at the bottom of that drop, you are pushing a mountain of water in front of you, which then comes down on top of the raft, and somebody has to get very, very wet.
I like the jet because we got really, really wet at the end. This has been the wettest Walt Disney ride I've ever been on.
Take a minute to dry off and get ready to scream when we reveal Walt Disney World's next ultimate thrill. We're nearing the end of our ultimate Walt Disney World tour. Unfortunately, there are so many great adventures that we just didn't have the time to show you. But it's safe to say that none of them will make you shriek like our next attraction. It's the best scream your head off thrill. It's dark, it's creepy, and it might make you scream. Again and again and again.
I screamed like a little girl, I sure did, and I ain't ashamed to say that. And I challenge anybody that ride this ride to tell me that they don't scream, because you will scream.
His hat actually fell off when he did it.
It's called the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and it's located at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
From the moment guests walk down Sunset Boulevard, they see Tower of Terror looming in the distance, and that's when we begin our storytelling. This gigantic scar on the side of the building, it begins to set up the anticipation for the thrill. And then, of course, when the doors open on the outside and you see guests screaming and enjoying the ride experience, that takes it even further.
Once visitors enter the eerie Hollywood Tower Hotel, it becomes obvious that something isn't quite right.
The Tower of Terror in Florida is an old hotel that's been abandoned since 1939 when something went horribly wrong. There were some guests that disappeared. Part of the hotel went into the Twilight Zone. You suddenly find yourself a unwilling participant in the Twilight Zone.
As guests enter the lobby, you'll see a newspaper that's folded over the edge of a couch, and you'll see a glass of tea that's half empty. The attention to detail in there is very critical to setting up the story that this event has taken place, dramatically affected not only the architecture of the hotel, but all the guests, because there's nobody there.
This hotel's creepy staff has their own idea on how to provide customer service.
Welcome, weary travelers, to the Hollywood Tower Hotel. In just a few moments, begin boarding the service elevator that will take you to
a bellhop that seems a bit too eager to get you into the elevator greets you as you pass a lift motor that has seen better days.
Here we are, right inside, sir.
You've been warned, and if you've made it this far, there's no turning back.
I do hope you enjoy your stay with us. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Too late.
First up, meet the hotel's ghostly guests. We want you to join them as permanent residents. Next stop, the fifth dimension. Here, your elevator does something that will probably surprise you. It actually breaks free from the shaft and moves into the hotel's haunted corridors. Suddenly, it becomes pitch black before this 13-story drop can make people scream even if they don't scare easy. These unique ride vehicles were a breakthrough in ride design because the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror offers its guests a completely different ride experience each time they work up the courage for another trip into the Twilight Zone.
Check out to be right this way.
Once you get to the actual drop sequence, the real exciting thing about Tower of Terror is that the computer randomly selects whether you're going to drop 3 times, or whether you can drop 4 times. If you're going to drop 50 feet the first time, 20 feet the first time, sometimes you even shoot straight up. And so it provides a random experience which only adds an extra layer of excitement to the rider.
And then you go on it again, and it's something completely different, and you have no idea what you're doing.
If the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror is so frightening, why do guests continue to come back?
I think the reason guests love to come back to Tower of Terror again is its storytelling. Whether you're walking through the lobby or whether you're dropping at 2,700 feet per minute, you pick up all these things that you never saw before, and it just adds to the experience. It is a scream your head off thrill ride.
So the next time you decide against taking the stairs, beware. You just might fall into the Twilight Zone. Coming up next, the Magic Kingdom Park's largest expansion in its history is revealed, along with some surprising new plans for the future of Walt Disney World Resort, when Ultimate Walt Disney World continues. For more than 4 decades, Walt Disney World Resort has created attractions and experiences that are not only synonymous with family fun, but satisfy the thrill seeker in all of us. Disney's Imagineers are always challenging themselves to come up with the next generation of attractions that will define Ultimate.
Part of this is due to the fact that the guests are seeing in entertainment, in movies and video games, much richer worlds. We've got to keep step with that in the theme park.
In 2012, Walt Disney World Resort unveiled the largest expansion in Magic Kingdom history. When completed, the new Fantasyland will have nearly doubled in size, introducing new attractions and technology that is raising the bar once again.
There are really firsts throughout everything that we worked on within Fantasyland. And as an Imagineer, we always try to break new ground and use technology to support telling those stories. But we're very clever in how we do that.
And it's that technology that has allowed for interactive attractions.
We're finding that the more we're able to engage the guests, the more those guests find that experience unique, and it leaves even a deeper emotional connection with those attractions.
Enchanted Tales with Belle uses some innovative technology to create a new kind of immersive character experience.
In Enchanted Tales with Belle, we've created a portal from Maurice's cottage to the Castle of the Beast because we knew we didn't have time for a guest to physically walk from Maurice's cottage all the way to the Beast Castle. So we threw that to our special effects designers at Imagineering. And one of them had this amazing idea to create a portal through a mirror that grew to be the size of a doorway. And it takes all kinds of cutting-edge technology, some magic tricks, special effects, everything pretty much we've got up our sleeves to pull it off. But I think once guests experience it, they're just blown away by how amazing it is.
Once inside the Beast's castle, visitors meet one of Disney's most advanced 3-dimensional character figures.
The Lumiere figure is one of the most amazing characters that we've ever created, not just within Imagineering, but in partnership with feature animation. It was one of the first times where we had a collaborative effort to really bring that character to life like never before.
We really have pressed our use of technology right here to really interact not only an element that's purely based on technology and animation, but with a real character experience.
Also in Fantasyland, the classic Dumbo the Flying Elephant not only doubled in size, but now has a new high-tech queue system.
We wanted to create a queue line experience that was like no other. So the idea for the Dumbo Circus tent is really to let our guests go in and do away with the queue. Let them go in and play in this big top atmosphere.
Each guest gets a pager that lets them know when it's their turn to ride. No more waiting in lines. It's all part of Disney's plans to continue to evolve their theme park experiences. The new Fantasyland expansion posed a lot of challenges for Disney's Imagineers, but it also created a lot of opportunities.
We actually took technology and used it in ways that we have never done before, allowing ourselves in 3 dimension within the computer to fly through all of these spaces.
Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid allows visitors to dive into the undersea world of the Little Mermaid and her friends. The ride pushed Disney's storied audio animatronics figures to new technological heights.
The figures of Ariel and Ursula are some of the more sophisticated ones that we've ever done with the new skin technologies that we came up with. We were able to give them more acting ability. We brought that to Ariel specifically, and she is actually able to lip sync the words to the lyric.
But even more challenges were in store for the new Fantasyland.
For many years, we had Snow White's Scary Adventures, which is really kind of a book report ride about the entire Snow White story. And we thought it'd be fun to sort of take a different take on that and expand upon the story so it's not a chapter that you've experienced before and tell it in a whole new way.
And with that came a new ride, which will serve as the centerpiece of Fantasyland.
The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is really going to be an experience like we've never created before here at Disney. It's part roller coaster, part classic Disney dark ride, classic storytelling.
It really takes you on an adventure with the Seven Dwarfs into their mine where a million diamonds shine.
This roller coaster is going to feature something thrill seekers have never experienced before.
We're taking a first-of-its-kind ride vehicle that actually is going to do one really unique thing, and that's swing back and forth.
One of the qualities of the mine train in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is that the buckets swing. And that may seem simple, but no one had done this before. So we have the first roller coaster with swinging buckets that really draw their inspiration from the original movie.
I could actually remember sitting on the back of a test coaster on the back of a truck in a bucket swinging back and forth so that the team can figure out how much can we make this ride gimbal back and forth and give them that experience of the bucket tipping. It is a process that builds on itself over time that takes years and years to bring to marketplace.
New Fantasyland marks Walt Disney World's latest expansion at the Magic Kingdom. There's even more ambitious plans in store for the future of Disney's Animal Kingdom.
One of the exciting new projects we have for Disney's Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World is bringing James Cameron's world of Avatar to life. We know from this enormously successful film that people want to visit Pandora, this unbelievable planet full of unique species of animals and plants.
With Disney's long and successful track record of doing the impossible, Avatar Land is likely to live up to expectations.
It's surprising sometimes the things that you think are impossible that turn out to be doable. And what you thought made them impossible was really an opinion.
At the end of the day, in order to deliver on Walt's mantra that it's kind of fun to do the impossible, you've got to do a lot of in-house invention. And this includes special effects, robotics, injection techniques, new materials for skins and paints, all these kinds of things have got to keep in step with our dreams, the kinds of things that we can imagine that we want to bring to life, and the expectations of our guests.
Walt Disney's vision for Walt Disney World Resort was that it would always continue to grow and expand.
We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish.
So the next 40 years is sure to deliver even more exciting thrills, so that there will always be an ultimate Walt Disney World.